kind of shops do you frequent?
I am really into astrophotography, so if anybody has cool, like, hollow emitters that, like, show, like, nebulas and stuff, like, knick-knack shop.
There is a shop in the Galleria that is very much space photographs, essentially, but, like, three-dimensional.
Yeah.
The person running the shop, they are in the midst of, like, working as you come in. You're back. Welcome.
You know, I can't stay away. You just have so many cool things.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I've only just recently got a set-up shop here, and I'm so glad I already have a return customer.
Well, you know, I don't know how long we're going to be out on our next mission, so gotta get stocked up on tchotchkes while I'm here on the station.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. She's like, this is my new pride and joy. What she turns on is, like, about the size of, like, a chandelier. And it's just like, I just finished this morning.
It's beautiful. I think it might be a little bit big for my quarters on the ship, though.
That's totally fair, but I really wanted you to see it.
Do you have anything in the Betazoid system?
I do, actually. And true to form, there is, like, a very accurate of the Beta Z system.
Because I got the message from Chris earlier, I'm thinking of my sisters, and I'm thinking about, like, getting them some, like, souvenirs from the station.
Aww.
Like, this would be for Phil, because she is also traveling. She's an intergalactic pop star. Ophelia. I have 6 sisters, and I'm the middleest.
As you are looking at this, there is just a small twinge. You think back to having to be quiet and trying to keep hope in that dark place.
It was a long time ago.
And it's a new place now. And there's actually, like, some planetary force fields around there now.
It's not the most modern map, so it doesn't have, like, the force field.
Yeah.
And I just remember how exposed I felt.
You say your goodbyes, take your Lachotski. Do you get any food?
No, she does get a jumja stick.
Yeah, so you go to a nice jumja stick. Make a insight security check. And this will actually be a contested roll. So
Okay, I got a 5 and a 4, so that's 2 successes.
he got 3 successes. So you do not see anything unusual.
I do not notice that there is somebody following me.
No.
Oh.
And you go back to your quarters and you see Chow coming down that way.
Sorry, I didn't get you one.
I mean, you only have 2 hands.
Alright, what's up?
You guys head in. Espion is there just like...
Pat. Hello again.
Amethyst eyes just glaring at y'all.
I got a message from an old friend. Found out that one of the ships that is coming in, their chief of security is a Dormic. Relations can be kind of tense with them, so I figured I should bring that up.
Are you personally concerned?
Personally, about myself personally.
It seems like you're kind of trying to distance yourself from it as you're telling me about it, but...
Yeah, I thought it would be relevant to bring up, since we're going and talking with the admirals, we might be interacting with some of the crew from the other ships that are... So some of the Dormicine have a personal stake in not liking me, so just trying to keep you appraised of this situation.
I appreciate it. I would like to invite you to come to the Admiralty meeting because I think that it's a good developmental opportunity for your leadership skills, which was one of the main reasons why you took the post as my first officer. However, if you feel that it would place you in a compromised position, you can sit this meeting out.
I feel it's better to deal with the issues head on.
I agree, but I don't want you to feel like you need to compromise your personal safety.
I will do what I can to keep my cool, but I know that there are some people who may become antagonistic.
We both know how famous Andorians are for keeping their cool.
I'm just wondering if Gax can tell. I've been trying to keep
100%.
it cool. Yeah.
There's not much as far as, like, mental privacy between you guys.
Was there anything else that you wanted to fill me in on? I understand that you wanted to treat this news with a great degree of urgency, but also it is so early in the morning.
That is one of the downsides of working with the Admiralty. You're more of a swing shift kind of captain.
We all have our own challenges, and we shall overcome them together.
The slap of days gone by after, like, a successful, like, pirate run and a job well done is very much emphasizing that bond of friendship that you two share.
Did you have spring ball for breakfast?
I almost had 2 Klingons for breakfast. Not like that!
My eyes sparkle and you're like...
You know I had my pre-workout.
So I replicate us a little fruit plate. Is there a space equivalent of bringing donuts to a meeting?
So you can literally just bring donuts.
The Admiral is human, yeah? I bet there's just a place on the station that makes fusion donuts. So we go there on the way to the meeting. We bring Rock to Gino's and fusion donut.
As you're beginning to head out and you kind of look to the crowd, you see a few Ferengi, and there are quite a bit of Ferengi in this section. Fred, you swear that you see some familiar loaves.
I want to start by scanning for surface thoughts.
Problem. Ferengi are immune
Oh.
to telepathy.
It has
Catching wind of this-
constantly watching. When you attempt a task to detect danger or hidden enemies, reduce the difficulty by 1.
Warriors doesn't in hand be like, I swear. Ooh.
That's a crit from me.
Okay, so I got 1.
And
Okay.
I've got my difficulty -1 from constantly watching.
I am actually going to spend 2 threat to have a reroll a dice. You spot him.
Is he trying to get away from me?
He has definitely spotted you.
Yeah, spend 2 of the momentum to create an advantage for us. Because I don't feel like I have time to personally deal with whoever the fuck is right now. I want him to run face first into 2 Klingon station security guards.
Okay. You're kind of at a distance from him.
Yeah.
And you just hear this kind of spiel like, oh, officers, I swear. I don't even know where these came from. But you do see this Ferengi, well-endowed lobes. Despite the fact that he was trying to keep a low profile, he is dressed in garish clothes. Very much peacocking type of uniform.
Do I feel confident that the Klingons will be taking him into custody?
You feel confident that they're at least gonna give him like a stern talking to. This guy's name is Rod. He would describe himself as an entrepreneur. He works alone and is just kind of a wild card. He's always up to some kind of scheme. Sometimes he's trying to like sell faulty technology to lesser developed planets. Sometimes he's trying to pretend to be the second coming of like a god or something.
Okay.
You've had to deal with him quite a few times during like your pirate run days.
Okay. We don't want him to die, we just want him to stop.
He doesn't.
There goes fucking Rod again. Is he following us?
He seems a little spooked, more than usual.
Well, hopefully the Klingons will sort him out, because we don't have time for him right now.
So you guys head to the conference room. You see standing outside, shorter, human, pale skin, pixie cut, blonde hair, Admiral April Abear. She turns to you, gives a smile. You hear very affectionate thoughts.
Yes. Good morning, Admiral. Thought we'd bring some refreshments for everyone.
Good morning, Captain, Commander.
Admiral.
Appreciate the gifts. Please, come in.
So I was planning on being 10 minutes early, but because we had our
Yeah.
with Rod, I think we're probably like 5 minutes early.
If you're not early or late, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, sitting at an end of the table, this Klingon who looks a bit older. He's got a bit of a goatee with kind of a point. Bit balding down, but still very long hair. Wearing these garish sashes full of medals. He's a bit on the hussier side. He turns towards your general direction. This is General Cargun.
Good morning, General. Thought we'd bring some refreshments to liven everyone's spirits.
Alive and my spirits are indeed. Reaches in and like double fists.
Just both hands.
Yeah. The Admiral was right about you. Admiral takes some Ractigino, gives you some affectionate eyes before immediately like going back to professionalism. We are still awaiting the other captains.
Well, if you're not early, you're late.
Agreed. 1 minute before starting, on the dot, and the door opens. You see coming in, both wearing command red. One is a captain, one is a commander. The captain walking in, very typical bowl cut fashion, you see a female Vulcan. Considering Vulcan aging, you're not quite sure how old she is. Behind her, blue skin, ridge down the middle of her face, you see a Bolian, bald head, bright ocean blue eyes, beaming smile on her face. And she's just like, well, hello, everyone. She goes to the Admiral first. Admiral, hello. Goes to you, holds out her hand. Is like, I don't think I've met you before. Hi.
Fredalia Gax.
Oh, hello. I'm Commander Licia Brock.
Pleasure to meet you, Commander Brock. We have some refreshments if you want to grab some before we get settled in.
And she, dashes over. Ooh, is this some of the fusion stuff? Oh, I've been wanting to try that. I haven't gotten around to it, though.
It's the specialty of the station and when in Rome.
Sorry, some of them squirm.
I'm going to give the Vulcan captain a genial elbow and be like, look, our first officers are getting along.
She looks at the first officers, looks at you, and just says, Temek.
Captain Fredalia Gax. Delighted to meet you.
You catch in her mind, I am meeting you.
I acknowledge that this meeting is taking place.
Yes, the Admiral actually comes up and is like, yes, this is Temek, captain of the USS Surak. You recognize the name Temek. This is a Dominion war hero. She is known for being an excellent strategist, was really instrumental on the front lines, keeping a lot of people alive, triumphing against impossible odds, just using logic and strategy. I will actually roll to see if she knows you. She does look at you and just raises her eyebrow a bit. Gax, Beta Z.
Yes, I led the resistance.
You did.
We both had to do a lot of hard things during the Dominion War.
You did.
And we did the best we could.
Did the very best that you could.
Thank you.
Captain Temek is our new resident first contact specialist. And a second contact as well. She has been instrumental in repairing broken ties.
Because my brain was like, oh, so probably not the ship where the Dharmakeen is stationed. And I hear that and I'm like, I don't know, maybe.
Commander Brott is trying to just chug down some Ractogino to take the taste out. She's a bit more of a paler blue now. As you guys get settled in, make a little bit more small talk. It is 1 minute past, and the door opens. And you see a human man, some very light scars on the bottom of his face. He also has these Maori tattoos. Short black hair. He's like, sorry I'm late, there was some Ferengi trouble, I think. Admiral is like, welcome Captain Morrison. Please have some refreshments. Our resident tactical expert. He takes a bite. Gets a napkin. You're too kind.
I'm gonna send Chal a lot of delicate stomachs in the conference room.
And I'm just gonna respond back, we have been stationed here longer than most of them. It is an acquired taste, it's a local cuisine.
I suppose I should get used to it with my assignment. And he looks towards April, and April is like, yeah, Captain Morrison will be a part of our crew member exchange. So some members of the KDF, the Klingon Defense Force, will be going on to Morrison's ship and vice versa. General Kargan does pipe up. We are still awaiting the arrival of the Mapul. It should be here within the next day or so.
Oh, so will your first officer be a member of the exchange program?
Yes, actually. I've only just recently met them, and now they are going off to a KDF ship. It should be interesting. I'm certainly excited for the challenge. And he looks at you a little too long before moving on.
Do I catch any particular surface thought?
You get this wow, it's been so long and she's still so beautiful.
My smile cements on my face as I attempt not to react to that. And I think Chal even maybe gets a little echo of you.
And I'm just gonna pipe up about the donuts. If that one isn't to your taste, you can try one of these other ones.
The Admiral is like, alright, since all who need to be here are here. She goes over the situation that you guys are going into. You are all assigned to the 20th Fleet under Admiral Adair. She explains that she has assigned these 3 ships for diplomacy as she gives a look to the general, and he just raises a Ractogino cooperation. You actually get from his mind that remains to be seen. just of like the general situation. She begins to talk about the unclear situations in regards to the Romulan Star Empire. If one should encounter some Romulans, proceed with absolute caution. Defend yourself if you have probable cause. They go over Klingon Empire aspect of all this, and again, just like cooperation. General Kargan pipes up. While we are cooperating, there are still some Klingons within and without the Empire who do not wish to see the Alliance flourish. Most notable these days is the Sons of None. They are essentially dishonored deserters.
Houseless people.
In the uniquely Klingon way.
At the moment, they're not a huge issue, just something to like keep an eye out. Another Klingon group known as the Association of Insetters. Kargan has only heard rumors, but nothing is like confirmed. It's a bit more complicated because they are literally a guild of like craftsmen and teachers, and they specialize in the art of embedding objects into others. For most, it's an honest business. However, there are rumors, yet unconfirmed, that they are trying to incite war. Kargan makes it very clear that these are rumors. There are actual like insetters here on the station, and so they're just like keeping an eye on them, but for the most part it's like an honest business. Admiral pipes in, is like, speaking of honest businesses, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Orions. Certain few of you are intimately familiar with. We are in a complicated position as far as the Orions. The Orion Trade Union has been very helpful to us, and to the new colonists of the Shackleton Expanse as a whole, which gives the Orion Syndicate a bit more free reign than we would like. And they certainly have a presence here on this station. But all of these middlemen make it hard to crack down on them. We even have a few shopkeepers here who are heavily suspected associates of the Syndicate, and we have yet to find any incriminating evidence.
That is really the rub when it comes to the Orion.
She actually does look at you directly. I might ask you to do some reconnaissance in the future. I might have to take you away from your exploratory duties.
It is a different type of exploration, and our vessel is also uniquely qualified.
Especially with the modified engines that could prove very useful. You are very small and very fast. Quick footnotes on other polities. The Ferengi Alliance has, of course, swooped in. They've been reported to have more detailed starred maps of the Expanse at very high prices, which the Federation is not willing to pay at this time.
I would imagine questions as to the legitimacy of those goods,
Exactly.
too.
Yes.
I'm gonna float a thought over to Chal. Blackmail Rod for one?
Ferengi Alliance is actually trying to get an embassy on the station. At the mention of that, General Kargan is just, I'd sooner rip out 3 of my hearts than let a Ferengi have an embassy here. They're nothing but honorless capitalists. Lastly, talking about the Borg Collective. There is talk of the Borg being, at the very least, like heavily crippled. The Admiral herself personally is optimistic. She's also not a fool. Even though this is a problem that might have already been taken care of, be fucking ware. And she goes over that Tamek will primarily be involved with diplomacy, specializing in like first contact. She also has like her own team of scientists, so some science shit will also happen on her ship.
When she says that, I'm going to turn to Tamek and say, our facilities are always at your disposal, and I look forward to collaborating.
Likewise. And Captain Morrison will be in charge of like tactical and defense. He will mainly be patrolling for pirates along like the borders or just well-known like hotspot. You guys will essentially be mapping everything. That might also mean, since you guys are like taking point, that might also include first contact and diplomacy of that regard. With all that was like kind of lost in the Dominion, first contact protocols have become less tightened. Some allies would be real nice. Due to the commissioned nature of your vessel, your orientation will actually take place in the science department with Science Officer Talia Farrow. And with that, you guys are dismissed.
I'm gonna get really busy, like, cleaning up the donuts and Roctiginos until everybody else leaves.
Oh, to get an opportunity to, like, stay behind and talk to somebody.
Before that, I'm gonna make, like, a little bit of side-eye at the Admiral.
The Admiral catches the side-eye.
Okay.
However, Captain Morrison comes up to you. Is just like, well, Captain Gax, it's been so long.
Yes, we've all been extremely busy.
I was thinking perhaps later tonight, have a bite or something? Or...
Oh, I really don't want to do this. Can we say that Chal, like, senses my panic? I'm just going, like, shit, like, so loud that he hears me.
That, yeah.
And I think I'll just come up, oh, Captain, I wanted to kind of time to coordinate for any sort of, like, defensive measures that we might need to handle in those situations.
Oh, Chal, that is such an excellent suggestion. Captain, didn't you say you were free tonight?
Make a presence and security roll.
You want me to buy a dice on this one?
I would like to, yes.
I will spend a threat to gain another die.
I got 3 successes.
So did he. He is like, perhaps you can join us for a tactical meetup and we can discuss both professional and personal.
I really view this as a learning opportunity for Chal to have this one-on-one meeting with you.
If we need to coordinate between our crews, maybe after we do our orientation, we all get together with our senior staff tomorrow and have a group discussion.
He's like, I think I would appreciate a sort of group briefing among our senior staff.
I'll let you know as soon as our orientation gets out, and we will coordinate with Tumek on a group briefing.
Tumek is coming as well.
If all of us are embarking at the same time and we'll be relying on you for tactical support, I think it would only be logical.
Make another presence in command.
So you got 1 dice. I'm going to go ahead and spend for
since
another one, and then I also have my focus on improvisation. I got 2 successes.
I got 1 success.
He only got 2 successes. Maybe I'll just message you and we'll talk some other time.
Maybe.
And he, sad violins.
I think as soon as he leaves, I'm just going to turn, so no group meetup?
I will do my best to coordinate with Captain Tumek.
Admiral Abear is still there.
I think a group tactical briefing would be a good idea.
I will certainly not stop more productivity. Do you want to talk about
I appreciate that. Yeah, maybe we could talk about it over dinner. I just thought since we're embarking in a couple of days, we might not have a lot more opportunities.
She is like, I promised to cook tonight, but you're more than welcome to come.
That sounds
dinner
lovely.
with us.
What should I bring?
She lists off some curry spices. She's like, I'm sorry, Chal, you're not invited. Of course.
I was honestly just daydreaming about Gakos, don't mind me.
Ooh, those are really good. They've been a new addition.
It took a little while to get used to the texture. It was a little unnerving. Honestly, first time I had it was on a dare.
She gives you a look when he says that. Did you dare him to do it?
I'm offended that you would assume that, and yes.
You can feel that she's looking forward to seeing you. The Admiral does say that Gita is making a special dish. You would know Gita as her wife.
Her beautiful wife.
So y'all head to one of the lecture halls. Meanwhile, you two...
Hey! Because, we're running late. Hop on. I assume Quincy has outfitted me with some pretty powerful engines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So-
there is a specific sports mode / Quincy mode.
So you're Newman. I'll say make a daring and con roll.
It's a success.
I got 1 success, but that's...
Still no.
No.
That was mainly to determine how late you guys were.
And Lyrsa will park outside the door and then pop her crutches out of the chair and walk in.
So a little before that, because you guys are late, there is a newly installed experimental quantum mechanics lab. What catches your attention is ambient bickering. And you see 2 figures. One in Starfleet Operations Yellow, the other in Starfleet Sciences Blue. The figure wearing yellow is very short and stout, giant bald spot on the top of the head, but long, kind of frazzled, sort of gray hairs, very bushy white beard, a kind of pig-like nose, and is very passionately like talking at this big device. Bragg Bovker, saying, well, if you ask me, these things are too experimental to be put on the field at this rate. Who knows what could happen? We could go back in time. We could go to a whole other dimension. The other figure, Denobulin, female, long darker hair, just kind of tied up in a really, pretty and decorative bun. She's like, I actually find it quite fascinating, and I think we're making great strides in quantum mechanics technology and quantum slipstream. Her name is Natala. Bragg says, all the benefits at this point are pretty theoretical. Natala's like, but the first step to discovery is the theoretical.
Commanders! It's good to see you're getting acquainted already!
Natala's like, Captain, it is very nice to meet you. I've heard so much about you.
And I have read your file extensively.
Flattered. I hope my record speaks for itself.
Well, the field is really the place where the truth comes to light. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn to Bragg and say, as I'm sure you'll see with our slipstream engine.
Do you even know what they're looking at?
No.
That's a big hunk of technology right there. I imagine it's quite useful at whatever it is it does.
That piece of technology is a model of a quantum slipstream burst drive installed on our ship currently.
Oh yeah, the Slipsy Doozle. Wasn't that a new experimental design or something unique to our ship?
He's like, well, I'm not the expert in this. Natala's like, that's actually my field. I have extensive experience in quantum mechanics, sensor operation, some archaeology, some astrophysics. I even dabble in some temporal mechanics.
Damn, go.
Bragg is definitely looking at her just like she's all brains and no practice. Bragg himself says, I don't know if you know this about the Intrepid class, but it's a very powerful ship.
And I'm sure you'll take good care of her.
I will try to make sure that we will not need to eject any warp cores.
Yeah. Or exploding. Exploding is also bad.
I can certainly help in avoiding exploding. I have extensive knowledge in power systems, so power management is going to be the key. He also looks at you and is like, your hair is so short.
It is. Sometimes my head does get cold.
Sometimes my head gets cold too. You actually read that was intentional, and you have actually passed his social test. So a Tellarites' bread and butter culturally is argument. They greet each other in insults. So you either defend yourself from the insult or you insult back.
Well, I believe it is time for us to get on our way to our senior staff briefing.
Indeed, yes. Natala's just like, this is so exciting.
It is. I can't wait to meet the rest of the senior staff.
Going up on the walls.
So y'all head to the Stellar Cartography Station, and you actually see at the top, in kind of this domed space, is a floating, spiraling model of the Milky Way galaxy. You see, typing on some computers, a figure wearing a scientist's coat, definitely civilian, large gray hair, darker skin, betazoid eyes. This is Dr. Helena Taliaferro. Welcome, Captain Gax.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to brief with my crew.
Of course. I commissioned you all, after all. When you kind of open yourself up to her, it feels like the feedback is muffled equivalent, which is odd, especially from a betazoid. She is under some kind of influence. You guys probably haven't reconnected until now.
So I get the sense that this is a recent development.
Yes.
So we arrive a little bit early.
On time, coming into the laboratories is a Vulcan wearing the operations yellow, rank of lieutenant. They are actually a recent graduate. I would say since you read up on the dossier, you know that before they came into Starfleet, they spent a lot of time at the Daystrom Institute. Then they decided to join the academy. Their name is Valar. They very much come in, Captain, Commander, and just kind of sit, no small talk. You guys actually know Valar.
I feel like Valar was one of the other people on our academy club.
In the little robotics league.
Flying ships.
So you, Quincy, would know that they are agender, asexual, and like aromantic. Despite Valar's youth, they have already gone through the Vulcan ritual to remove all emotion.
Okay, so who are we still waiting on?
Oh, we're like waiting on Con Officer and the ship's doctor. Helena is like, I'm also waiting on, and then the door opens. Human, bald in the head, and he's like, yes, I'm here. Now you may start. He looks
Dr. Zimmerman, lovely to see you again.
sees Helena. He's like, Doctor? Captain? And he kind of scoots a little closer to you.
I think when he sits down and scoots closer to me, I'm gonna be like, let me just check for my officers. And I go and leave and like look in the hallway.
He watches her go. You look down the hall and see... Then as you turn and you're making your way back, that's when you guys show up.
I hear the door and I turn. So good of you to join us. Please have a seat.
Yep. Pulls out chair for Lursa.
Their youth is just made even more clear just from the amount of professionals in the room.
Lursa's kind of keeping the same aura that she had in the halls. This is my first impression with these people, so I want them to know not to fuck with me. We came as fast as we could.
Quincy is aggressively typing descriptions of each officer. Like, Captain has a haircut.
Dr. Taliaferro is just like, now that everyone's here, and the Milky Way model zooms in to the Shackleton Expanse, or at least what is known of it so far. I have a very special interest in the Persephone. It is thanks to me that we have made as much progress as we have. I am very curious in exploring all of the different phenomena, such as the Shackleton pinwheel, the endurance divide. The thing that you all need to worry about is the washboard, the gravimetric disturbances prevalent throughout. Navigating through these will not be easy, which is why I specially commissioned the engines, and she looks at you. I'm very impressed. There's a lot that we don't know. There's a lot that I want to know. And while, of course, you will primarily report to the Admiral, the Persephone will also prioritize reports to me.
We are all here to do our best.
I also took the liberty of having the Persephone be installed with a quantum slipstream burst drive. It's in a very experimental stage, but, and she looks at you very personally, I feel like you will be up for the task.
I'm sure with the assistance of Lieutenant Commanders Natala and Bragg and Ensign Dawson, we will be in good hands.
Quincy, would you like to roll for, like, what the fuck that is?
Experimental technology is one of my focuses.
I will put the difficulty at 2.
Yeah, I'm solid.
Yeah.
No.
You have certainly heard the theory of, like, quantum slipstream. It was an idea brought forth by the Voyager crew. It's also dealing with primarily in, like, quantum mechanics, which is a bit out of your field. A high priority to not just the Federation Science Council, but to me personally. You see this system consisting of 3 massive white dwarf stars in orbit around each other. Really unusual because white dwarf stars don't do this.
As soon as it like zooms in, Gax is just going to say, "What a fascinating phenomenon."
Are they in orbital decay or is it stable?
It is stable.
Lursa is nodding gravely, pretending like she knows exactly what we're talking about.
We theorize that the washboard effect originates with this phenomenon that we are calling the washboard triplets.
So I'm assuming that will be our first stop.
That will be a stop for when you have proven yourself reliable. And surrounding these triplets, there is a high density of gaseous tritanium, particulate dilithium, and complex carbon chains. We would like a survey of the system, which is why I initiated this project in the first place. Your engines, theoretically, should be able to navigate the washboard triplets. At this time, all ships are being advised to stay far away from the washboard triplets. I am going to be leaving your introductory missions, let's say, in the hands of the Admiral. Once the Persephone has proven capable, then we will talk more direct.
Dax is starting to be a little bit like, okay, but what are we going to be doing, though?
Yeah.
So I would like to do an insight command check.
Sure, yeah.
Gotcha. Do you want... Oh.
So I got 20.
Whoa.
So that's a complication.
Yes, and a 4. Because I'm using my stellar cartography, that is 2 successes.
So,
You actually just needed to beat a 2. I am just going to bank that threat. There's something that she is not telling you, though you're not quite sure, like, why or...
Okay.
Dr. Helena continues. For the first mission, you will just be delivering medical supplies to an established colony. Arden 4. Dr. Zimmerman is like, and as far as experimental, I have also been commissioned, and he gives like a pointed look to Helena, to dust the mothballs off one of my older experiments. You will be accompanied by my LMH. Well, the long-term medical hologram. Like,
Modeled after Dr. Julian Bashir, right?
see for yourself.
Visibly excited.
There's... And you see, in the Dominion War, like, war vest is Dr. Julian Bashir. He says, "Hello, I am the long-term medical hologram. What is the state of your emergency?" Dr. Zimmerman is like, "Hello, Julian." "Hello, Dr. Zimmerman. And I imagine you are the crew of the USS Persephone.
Yes, and there is no current emergency, so you can calm down.
And who is the doctor of the ship?
That would be me.
It's a pleasure to meet you."
It
Yes,
is,
I imagine you'll be working together fairly extensively. I'm Captain Gah.
Pleasure. Julian Bashir.
Yes.
And this is my first off, and I just like go around
Yeah.
the table.
I was unaware that I would be having any help. I thought I would be the only medical officer needed aboard this ship.
Well, Dr. Lursa, of course, you're our only full-time medical staff, but in any event where you might, for example, need a nurse for an extensive operation, and then I just, like, go into the entire, like, LMH spiel.
And the entire time, Julian is like sitting there proudly like,
I can see how some people would need such a crutch.
Well, I think everyone needs crutches sometimes.
Zimmerman's like, enough of that. He's just like, goodbye, Julian.
As Doctors Tellyfair and Zimmerman have pointed out, our ship is in an extremely unique position. We have exceptional opportunities before us to not only prove ourselves as officers, but ability to all work together and overcome any challenges that are put before us. And we're also in a unique opportunity to assist not only the scientists in getting a better understanding of this system, but also the settlers who are in need of medical supplies and other infrastructures. I am very much looking forward to working with each and every one of you and seeing how we can all learn and grow together as a team to accomplish great things.
The meeting, like, wraps up, and you actually are able to, like, enter on your ship. You guys come up to the bridge. The way that this bridge is oriented, the con station is front and center, just one seat. You are the navigator and the pilot.
Got a little measuring tape.
It's just a piece of string, actually, with knots in it.
As you are doing your little beep boops, it's like typing a message with autofill, and what it's autofilling is exactly like what you need.
Is it an adequate station for you?
Yes.
Hold on. Your non-requested it.
Oh.
Oh, do we need to do a group photo?
Oh, no.
Finger
You
a
have
bad
the
thing.
longest arm.
I pull out a selfie stick. I have a focus in ancient technology.
All right, everyone say Persephone!
As it flashes, we are actually going to flash forward a little bit to later that night. There's actually a celebration for the new year down in the Galleria. A special performance by the Choo Choo performers. The kind of pop stars that, like, academy students are into. Their specialty is the Choo Choo dance. On special occasions, they will do the Choo 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 dance and add an extra choo.
Thankfully, she'll be having dinner elsewhere.
Hey.
That's true, yeah.
And I wasn't invited, so...
Do you go to the concert going on?
I mean,
It's up to you.
probably. I think he's just sort of like trying to immerse himself in the culture of the station.
Are you guys going?
Lursa is completely tone deaf.
Quincy does not like the fact that he has t-shirts for the Choo Choo crew, and so Quincy goes and knows the choo-choo dance.
Yes.
I may not know what's going on, but I got the spirit.
Did you like pick up a couple of like glow stick?
I'm just like doing this. Ensign, nice to see you.
Commander,
Quite a lively dance they've got going.
would you like to learn it?
Sure.
Quincy like walks you through like the basic steps. Pulls out like a little like jar. I was like, do you also want some glitter?
Why not? Just the most steely, determined face. When you say you're ready, I'm just like,
We were doing the choo-choo
Fun.
dance next to each other in very different amounts of energy.
As you're dancing and having a great time, you see that they are preparing for a third chew. The crowd is going crazy. You see, out of the corner of your eye, someone moving through the crowd. You see them get to about where you are and pull out a disruptor and point it towards the stage. And that is where we are going to end.